Humans couldn't approach mythic ships until I found one in the junkyard. Ethan Parker had always been a wanderer. Ever since he could remember, he felt the pull of stars like invisible threads, tugging him toward places humans were warned to avoid. While most pilots in the outer colonies stayed close to the shipping lanes or the bustling trade hubs, Ethan preferred the silent void, the forgotten places, the dead corners of the galaxy. That was where he felt alive. Today he hovered over one such place, the derelict belt, a massive junkyard orbiting the dying star Valera 9. No one called it pretty. Rusted freighters drifted like ghosts, halls torn open and interiors hollowed by scavengers long gone. Satellite shards and shattered probes floated in slow, endless circles. It was a graveyard of ambition and technology, abandoned when the galaxy moved on. Ethan's freighter, small but nimble, weaved carefully between debris. Its sensors pinged with faint signals, old power cores, leftover ship AI modules, maybe even one rare energy cell that could fetch a fortune. His job was simple: scavenge, survive, and return. But something in him whispered that today would not be simple. "Ethan, you sure you want to do this?" asked Maya Clark from the co-pilot seat. Her voice was calm, but he could detect the slight tension beneath it. She had been his friend for years, sharing more space missions than she cared to count. Most of these ships are dangerous. Sensors go haywire near some of the bigger derelicts. Even the AI cores, I'd rather not test that today. Ethan smiled faintly. "You worry too much, Maya. I've been through worse. Trust me, there's nothing in here that can't be handled."
He had lied to her about the confidence. Inside, his heart raced.
It wasn't fear exactly, but a shiver of anticipation that something big, something rare, waited among the wrecks. The freighter drifted past a broken transport, its hull shattered like an open book. The nameplate read something unpronounceable in alien script. Ethan ignored it. His eyes scanned the darkness beyond the larger freighter fragments, past twisted steel and clouds of micrometeorites. And then he saw it. At first, it was just a gleam, a reflection of Valera 9's fading light against metal that didn't look like anything he had ever seen. The shape was sleek, almost organic. Unlike the jagged edges of the other ships, this one seemed smooth, like a carved stone or a frozen wave. It hovered in the debris with a grace that defied the chaos around it. Ethan's hands tightened on the controls. "Maya, look at this." Maya's head turned slowly, and her breath caught. What is that?" she whispered. Even she looked unsure, her usually steady eyes wide.
"I don't know," Ethan admitted, "but it's different."
"It's alive, maybe." He adjusted the freighter's thrusters and moved closer. The closer he got, the more details emerged. The ship's hull seemed almost translucent in parts, showing faint lights coursing beneath the surface. It wasn't damaged like the others. It had clearly been here for centuries, untouched, yet it didn't show rust or decay. There were no markings, no symbols he could recognize, nothing to explain who made it or why it was here. Maya's fingers hovered over her console.
"Ethan, the warnings, the myths, you know them, right?"
"People say ships like these, they're cursed. No human has ever survived a close approach." Ethan grinned, more out of habit than bravery. "Survived? Or never dared to try? There's a difference, Maya. I want to find out which it is." He maneuvered the freighter alongside the mysterious ship. A docking port opened as if the ship had been expecting them. Ethan blinked. He had never seen a derelict do anything like that. "Did it just open?" Maya asked, her voice a mixture of awe and fear. Ethan shook his head. "I don't think it's just a ship. I think it's alive." The docking was smooth, almost effortless. Ethan stepped into the airlock and then into the interior of the ship. It smelled faintly of ozone and something sweet he couldn't identify. The walls seemed to pulse gently like breathing. Alien symbols glowed softly, shifting in patterns that made no sense at first. But when he reached out, the panels beneath his fingers lit up in response. Maya followed, cautious but curious. It's responding to you, she said. Not touch, like thought. I've never seen anything like it. He wandered deeper into the ship. Every step felt like walking into a living museum. The controls seemed designed for intelligence, not strength. Buttons weren't pressed, they were acknowledged. Screens didn't display data, they shared understanding. And then came the sound. Or rather, the vibration. It was subtle at first, a low hum beneath his feet. Then the ship seemed to shift slightly, repositioning itself in the debris. Ethan realized it was moving gently, as if testing him. Ethan, where? Maya whispered, a shiver in her voice. He felt a thrill rush through him. Not just aware, curious. He spent hours exploring. The ship contained rooms filled with unknown technology, engines that bent light around them, storage units with materials that seemed to defy physics, and a navigation deck that displayed the stars in ways Ethan had never seen. For the first time in his life, he felt small, not in fear, but in awe. Humanity had reached for the stars and found ruins, but here was something that had been beyond even the most ambitious human imagination. The hours passed quickly. Ethan realized he had been there for what felt like minutes. The ship seemed patient, as if it had all the time in the universe. He reached for one glowing console and the light shifted to form something almost like words. Not human words, but patterns he could interpret. Coordinates. Maya leaned over his shoulder. Coordinates to where? Ethan shook his head, excitement burning in his chest.
I don't know, but I think it wants us to go somewhere.
Somewhere important. The ship pulsed again, almost impatiently, and Ethan felt a tug in his mind, like it was guiding him without speaking. He realized then, this wasn't just a ship to be taken or sold. This was a ship that chose its human companion, and it had chosen him. By the time Ethan and Maya returned to their freighter, the junkyard around them seemed quiet in a new way. The derelict ships no longer looked threatening. They looked abandoned. The Mythic ship hovered behind them, silent and watchful, waiting for the next move. Ethan stared at it, his mind racing. This changes everything, Maya. Everything. Maya swallowed. If what you think is true, we're not just looking at a ship, we're holding the key to the galaxy. Ethan nodded. And we're the first humans in centuries to get it. As the sun of Valera, 9 began to fade behind the horizon, Ethan realized something else. He wasn't just a scavenger anymore. He was an explorer, and this ship was his guide into the unknown. The junkyard, once a place of forgotten dreams, had become the starting point of a new legend. The hum of the Mythic ship filled Ethan Parker's small freighter as he and Maya Clark stared at its glowing panels. They had returned from the junkyard hours ago, yet neither of them could bring themselves to leave the ship alone. It seemed alive even in silence, and Ethan had the strange, thrilling sense that it was waiting for them to understand it. Ethan, are you sure it's safe to just experiment with it? Maya asked, adjusting her seat. Her fingers traced a worn notebook filled with sketches and notes from their last visit. Most people who even touch these ships, they never come back the same, or at all. Ethan smiled, though his heart pounded. We're careful. That's all we can do. If we never try, we'll never know. He floated over to one of the consoles and extended a hand. The lights responded immediately, flowing like liquid along the edges of the panel. A soft vibration traveled through the freighter floor and into his boots. His chest tightened, and for a moment he felt dizzy, as if the ship was reading his thoughts. It's like it knows us, he whispered. It doesn't just respond to touch. It responds to understanding. Maya leaned closer, awe in her eyes. Understanding what? Ethan shrugged. I don't know yet, but I intend to find out. For the next few hours they explored the interior. The ship was unlike anything built by humans. Its engines were smooth and quiet, yet they radiated a power that felt infinite. Storage compartments contained materials Ethan didn't recognize, metals that shimmered and shifted under light, crystals that pulsed softly as if alive, and devices that seemed to bend energy around themselves. This is impossible, Maya said. She held up a crystal that fit perfectly in the palm of her hand. Nothing like this exists in any human colony. The properties. Look at this. It changes shape depending on temperature and pressure. Ethan examined it. He could feel the energy humming within, almost as if it were waiting for him to understand its purpose. I think it's teaching us, or testing us. Maya frowned.
Testing? How do you mean? Ethan pointed to the console.
Patterns of light swirled across the panels, forming shapes that were neither letters nor numbers. Slowly, they began to make sense, not in a language, but in logic. Each pattern seemed like a puzzle designed to challenge the human mind. I think it wants us to solve something, Ethan said. It's not just a ship. It's intelligent, and it wants to see if we're worthy of it. For the first time in their journey, a hint of fear entered Maya's eyes. Worthy? Of what? Ethan, what if it decides we aren't? He shook his head. Then we try again. That's all we can do.
They worked in tandem, Ethan manipulating the panels with his intuition, Maya using her engineering knowledge to understand the energy flow.
Hours passed, then days. Slowly, patterns became clearer. They realized that the ship's guidance was more than random. It was a map to something hidden, something far beyond the outer colonies. This isn't just a ship, Ethan said one evening, his eyes glued to the glowing map. It's a guide. Something ancient.
Maya nodded. And maybe dangerous.
If people knew about this, they'd try to take it from us. Ethan shrugged. Let them try. We're not taking it. It shows us. The next step was simple in theory. Test the ship's propulsion. Ethan suited up and entered the pilot chamber, hands hovering over controls that felt alive beneath his touch. With a deep breath, he pushed the freighter forward, trusting the ship to guide him. The moment he did, the ship shifted subtly, its energy core glowing brighter. He felt the freighter almost melt into space, sliding through debris with ease. He could see the stars twist and bend slightly as if the ship were creating a small bubble of its own physics around them. Maya's voice crackled over the intercom. Ethan, are you okay? I'm fine. It's incredible, he said, eyes wide. It's teaching me how to fly. But not like humans fly. Like thinking the path into existence. She laughed softly. You always wanted to be a legend, Ethan. Maybe now you finally are. Days turned into weeks as they tested the ship's systems. It responded to thought, intuition, and emotion. It knew when they were hesitant, cautious, even fearful, and it adjusted accordingly. The ship had limits, but those limits were beyond human imagination. It could warp through minor wormholes, redirect energy to shields instantly, and even generate temporary gravity fields. Yet, it remained patient. It never forced them to move faster than they could comprehend. Slowly, Ethan and Maya grew to trust it, and to trust themselves. One evening, as they drifted through a quiet sector near the nebula verge, a new pattern appeared on the main console. Ethan leaned closer. It was no longer abstract. This time, it formed what could only be interpreted as coordinates. Coordinates, Ethan breathed. It's pointing us somewhere. Maya studied the display. Look at this. It's not on any chart. Not in human space. Not in known alien space. This is completely uncharted.
Ethan's pulse quickened.
Then that's where we go. Whatever it wants to show us, we have to follow. As they prepared for departure, the freighter shivered. The ship seemed impatient, vibrating with anticipation. Ethan felt a connection he could not explain. The ship was alive, and it had a purpose. Are you ready for this? Maya asked, gripping the console. Ethan nodded. I've never been more ready in my life. With a soft hum, the ship guided them into open space. Ethan felt the freighter slip through the vacuum like water through fingers. The stars outside began to warp subtly as the ship bent space around them. They were moving faster than any human craft had ever traveled, and yet they felt safe, cradled by the ship's energy. Hours later, They arrived at a drifting cloud of starlight and cosmic dust. It glowed faintly, almost like it had been waiting for them. The ship slowed as they entered the nebula. Inside, strange energy currents swirled, invisible to sensors but tangible to their senses. Ethan and Maya felt their freighter tug and twist with every wave.
Incredible, Ethan whispered.
I can feel the currents. It's like the ship knows exactly how to navigate them.
Maya nodded, but tension shadowed her face. It's beautiful, but dangerous. If we make one mistake. Ethan shook his head. We won't. We have the ship. And we have each other. The nebula opened to reveal a field of floating structures. Ancient, abandoned, but still humming with energy. These were not ships like the one in the junkyard. These were larger, more mysterious. Towers of metal and crystal, glowing with a soft light, drifting silently in the void. Ethan felt awe and fear at the same time. This is what the ship wanted to show us. Maya studied the structures. Why us? Why humans? Ethan looked at the glowing panels inside the freighter. Because it saw something in us. It saw curiosity, creativity, the ability to understand, not just to take. That's what it respects. They spent hours exploring the edges of the structures, sending drones and sensors. Every measurement, every signal was beyond human comprehension. Yet slowly they began to notice patterns, logic behind the design, symmetry, energy flows that suggested intention and intelligence. This is knowledge, Ethan said, voice trembling with excitement.
Not just technology. Knowledge.
The kind of knowledge that could change everything for humanity. Maya nodded slowly. And the ship brought us here because it knew we could handle it, because it trusted us. Ethan's chest tightened. He realized then the full weight of their discovery. Humans had always looked to the stars for hope, for power, for escape. But this was different. The galaxy held wonders that were not meant to be conquered but understood. And for the first time, he felt that humans could rise to meet that challenge. As they floated in the silent glow of the ancient structures, Ethan reached out and touched one of the ship's panels. It pulsed in response, a soft rhythm that felt like approval. "We've only just begun," he whispered. "This is the start of something incredible." And for the first time, he understood what it meant to truly be chosen. The nebula stretched before them like a living ocean of light and shadow. Ethan Parker gripped the controls of his small freighter, the Mythic ship hovering protectively beside him. The glow of alien structures from their previous discovery lingered in their minds, but now a new challenge awaited. The nebula was alive with invisible currents, unpredictable energy waves that could tear human ships apart. For Ethan and Maya Clark, it was the ultimate test of skill and courage. "Ethan, these readings are off the charts," Maya said, scanning the instruments. "The energy currents here, they're unlike anything humans have charted. Sensors can't fully predict the patterns." "If we miscalculate," Ethan nodded, eyes fixed ahead. "We won't miscalculate. We just have to trust the ship." The ship, once silent and patient, now pulsed with anticipation. Its energy core glowed brighter as if sensing the human hearts inside the freighter. Ethan could feel it, not with sensors, but in a strange, unexplainable connection. It guided him subtly, nudging the freighter along safer paths, teaching him to feel the currents rather than calculate them. As they ventured deeper, the nebula shifted. Energy streams became visible, twisting like ribbons of light. Their freighter rocked with each wave, and Ethan's knuckles whitened on the controls. "Hold steady," Maya instructed. "Listen to it. Don't fight the currents. Flow with them." Ethan inhaled deeply and allowed himself to trust. Slowly, the freighter moved through the twisting energy, sliding and weaving like a dancer guided by unseen hands. The ship beside him seemed to smile, or at least Ethan imagined it did. Hours passed. The nebula grew denser, almost suffocating in its beauty. Strange formations of energy and dust loomed ahead, blocking their path. One misstep could mean destruction. Yet the Mythic ship guided them with patience, teaching them without words. Suddenly, a warning pinged on the freighter's sensors.
Ethan!
Look, Maya pointed. Another human ship appeared, lurking at the edge of the nebula. Its hull was sleek, modern, but far inferior to the Mythic ship. The pilots inside were likely scavengers or treasure hunters, drawn by rumors of alien technology in the nebula.
They've found us, Ethan muttered. They want the ship.
Or what we're after. The rival ship tried to intercept them, sending out aggressive maneuvers. Ethan's heart raced, but he didn't panic. Instead, he focused on the lessons the Mythic ship had taught him. He adjusted his movements, flowing with the nebulous currents, letting the ship guide them. Maya gasped.
They can't follow us. They're being thrown off by the currents.
Ethan smiled grimly.
Exactly. They don't understand the nebula.
We do. They're chasing legends they can't see or feel. The rival ship struggled, spinning and faltering as it attempted to navigate the twisting energy streams. Ethan and Maya moved with grace, the freighter and the Mythic ship in perfect harmony. It was not a battle of weapons, but a battle of wits, intuition, and understanding. After what felt like hours, the rival ship retreated, unable to keep pace with humans who had learned to trust the Mythic ship. Ethan exhaled. That was too close. Maya nodded, but a smile broke through her tension. We're incredible. We can do this. Ethan glanced at the glowing alien structures ahead. We're not just surviving. We're learning. That's why the ship brought us here, to test us, to see if humans can rise to challenges others cannot. The nebula shifted again, and a new obstacle emerged. A massive field of floating debris, remnants of ancient ships long destroyed. Energy currents twisted violently between the wreckage, threatening to tear any ship apart. Even the Mythic ship seemed to pulse with caution. Ethan's hands tightened on the controls. We have to navigate this, slowly, carefully, but we must move forward. Maya studied the energy streams, eyes wide with concentration. It's like a puzzle. One wrong move, and we're done. Ethan nodded, taking a deep breath. The freighter moved, guided by the ship's subtle pulses. Each obstacle required split-second adjustments, intuition, and trust. They wove through the wreckage, the freighter bending with the currents, the Mythic ship beside them like a silent teacher. At the center of the debris field, they found a massive structure, partially hidden by energy clouds. It was unlike anything they had seen, ancient yet alive with energy. Towers of metal and crystal spiraled upward, connected by beams of light that pulsed like veins. This is incredible, Ethan whispered. The ship brought us here for a reason. Maya nodded, her voice trembling with awe. It's beautiful, but so alien. How do we even explore it? Ethan studied the glowing panels on the Mythic ship. They pulsed in response to his thoughts, forming patterns that indicated safe paths through the structure. He realized that the ship was not just a guide, it was a teacher. It was showing them how to understand, to navigate, and to interact with alien intelligence. As they moved closer, the structure reacted. Energy beams shifted, creating pathways through the complex maze of towers and light. The freighter followed, perfectly synchronized with the ship's guidance. Every pulse, every glow, was a hint, a lesson, a key to survival. Hours turned into days as they explored. Each step revealed new wonders. Rooms filled with floating crystals, data nodes containing knowledge of ancient civilizations, and energy flows that could power entire colonies. Ethan and Maya recorded everything, understanding more with each discovery. Yet, challenges remained. Some areas tested their creativity, forcing them to think beyond standard human methods. They had to solve logic puzzles embedded in the energy patterns, align crystals to redirect power flows, and interpret alien symbols to unlock new paths. Each success strengthened their bond with the ship and their confidence in their own abilities. "This is a test," Ethan said one evening, staring at the glowing patterns. The ship isn't just protecting us. It's seeing if humans can rise to challenges on their own. If we can think, adapt, and grow. Maya smiled, exhaustion and excitement mingling in her expression. Then, we're passing. Slowly, but we are. Suddenly, a low hum echoed through the freighter. The Mythic ship pulsed brightly, as if drawing attention to something nearby. Ethan's eyes widened. Ahead, deep within the structure, a hidden chamber glowed faintly. Its energy signature was unlike anything they had encountered, ancient, powerful, and full of promise. "Do you see that?" Maya whispered. "The heart of it all." Ethan nodded. "We're ready. Let's find out what it wants us to see." As they approached the chamber, the ship's pulses became rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Ethan felt a thrill of anticipation. Whatever lay ahead would reveal the true purpose of their journey, and perhaps the reason the Mythic ship had chosen them in the first place. Maya glanced at him, determination shining in her eyes. "We can do this. Together." Ethan smiled, heart pounding. "Yes, together." They entered the chamber. The walls glowed with energy, forming intricate patterns that seemed to respond to their presence. Ethan and Maya felt a strange harmony with the space, as if the chamber recognized them. At the center, a floating orb of light pulsed gently. It radiated knowledge, power, and a silent invitation. Ethan extended his hand, feeling the energy resonate with his own. The ship pulsed beside him, guiding, teaching, and approving. This is it," Ethan whispered. "This is what we were meant to find." Maya nodded, her eyes reflecting the orb's glow. "And we're ready. Humans are ready." The Mythic ship pulsed one last time before retreating slightly, giving them the space to explore the orb. Ethan and Maya realized the truth. The challenges, the nebula, the rival hunters, all of it had been preparation. Preparation to show that humans could rise, adapt, and understand what others could not. For the first time, Ethan felt the full weight of their discovery. Humans were not just survivors of the galaxy. They were capable of greatness, of understanding, of achieving what even the myths had feared to approach. As they studied the orb in the chamber, Ethan knew one thing. The journey was far from over. The challenges ahead would be greater, the lessons deeper, but humans had proven something crucial. They could rise to meet the unknown. And the galaxy would never be the same. Ethan Parker floated in the freighter's cockpit, his eyes fixed on the glowing orb before him. The chamber hummed softly, like a heartbeat, and its energy pulsed in rhythm with the Mythic ship hovering protectively nearby. He could feel the weight of the moment. This was not just discovery, not just exploration. This was a test of humanity itself. Maya Clark leaned close, her fingers tracing the controls of the freighter. "Do you feel it, Ethan? It's like it's alive. It's expecting something from us." Ethan nodded.
Yes, but it's not just expecting.
"It's teaching, and we need to learn." The orb responded to their presence. Its glow shifted, forming patterns that seemed almost like words, but they were not human words. Symbols, geometry, and light combined formed meaning that Ethan and Maya could only interpret through intuition. Slowly, they began to understand. "It's showing us knowledge," Maya said, eyes wide. "Not technology, knowledge. How to understand energy, navigation, communication, things humans have never known." Ethan's heart raced. "It's giving us tools to rise, to go beyond what anyone thought possible. Humans, we can do this." The ship pulsed beside them, almost as if in agreement. For the first time, Ethan felt the full weight of what they had been chosen for. The Mythic ship had not brought them here to steal, to conquer, or to test their courage. It had brought them here to show that humans could think, adapt, and rise above limits. Maya studied the orb more closely. "Look at this. It's not just information. It's interactive. It wants us to solve challenges, to prove we can handle responsibility." Ethan nodded. "Then let's do it. Let's show it we're worthy." The first challenge appeared as a series of light patterns projected around the chamber. They twisted, shifted, and intertwined, forming complex geometric puzzles. Ethan and Maya exchanged a glance, determination shining in both their eyes. "Okay," Ethan said, taking a deep breath. "We solved them together." Logic, intuition, creativity. That's what it wants. They worked in harmony, Ethan following the ship's subtle pulses while Maya used her engineering knowledge to interpret energy flows. Each puzzle required careful observation and flexible thinking. They had to adjust crystals to redirect beams of light, align floating symbols to unlock energy channels, and interpret alien mathematics to form correct patterns. Hours passed. Their hands grew tired, their minds strained, but neither gave up. Each solved challenge made the orb pulse brighter, a sign of approval. The ship remained near, guiding subtly, never forcing, but always teaching. Finally, the last puzzle was complete. The orb expanded, radiating light that filled the chamber. Ethan and Maya felt a rush of understanding, as if knowledge itself flowed into their minds. They saw possibilities they had never imagined, new ways to navigate space, manipulate energy, and communicate over vast distances.
This is incredible, Ethan whispered. "We've been given
A gift. Knowledge that could change humanity. Maya nodded, her eyes shining with excitement. And we did it together. Humans did it. We proved we're ready. The mythic ship pulsed brightly, and then a new projection appeared. It showed not just the chamber, but the galaxy itself. Star systems, nebulae, planets, all connected by threads of light representing energy flows, communication networks, and navigation paths. Ethan realized what they were seeing. It's showing us the universe as it could be. And humans! We could shape it. We could rise among the stars, not by force, but by understanding. Maya gasped, This is beyond anything humans have ever done. We could lead exploration, communication, discovery, not as conquerors, but as learners." Ethan looked at the ship, which pulsed gently beside them. "It chose us because we were curious, creative, willing to trust, and willing to learn. This is not just a ship, it's a teacher. And it believes humans are ready." Suddenly, a signal came from the freighter's sensors. Another human ship had arrived, drawn by rumors of alien technology in the nebula. Ethan and Maya glanced at each other. The rival crew had no idea what they were about to face. They were chasing power, not understanding. "Should we warn them?" Maya asked, concern in her voice. Ethan shook his head. "No. They'll see soon enough that this isn't about weapons or wealth. It's about knowledge. And not everyone is ready for it." The rival ship entered the nebula, struggling to navigate the energy currents. The mythic ship guided Ethan and Maya through a hidden path, invisible to those who did not understand. By the time the rival crew realized the truth, they were far behind, unable to follow. "Humans who seek power without understanding will never rise," Ethan said quietly. This is the difference. Curiosity, trust, creativity. That's what matters." The orb pulsed again, and a soft voice resonated in their minds. Not words exactly, but a feeling, a thought, a message. Humans are capable. Guide your kind. Teach, explore, rise without destruction. It's giving us a mission, not to conquer, but to guide humanity, to show what we can become. Maya smiled, tears in her eyes.
And we can do it together.
Humanity can rise. Over the next few days, they explored more of the nebula and the ancient structures. Every new chamber revealed knowledge. Every energy pattern tested their skills. But with each success, they grew more confident. They were not just humans wandering in the void. They were pioneers, chosen to understand and unlock the secrets of the galaxy. Ethan realized that the mythic ship had not only tested them, but had prepared them for the next step. It would return to the junkyard, waiting for the next humans brave and curious enough to approach it. But they, Ethan and Maya, were ready to take its lessons into the wider universe. As they prepared to leave the nebula, Ethan turned to Maya. Do you feel it? The galaxy isn't as big and unknown as it seemed before. We have tools now, knowledge now, and the courage to use them. Maya nodded, her smile bright.
It's amazing, Ethan. Humans, we can rise.
We can do things no one else thought possible. The mythic ship pulsed one last time as if approving. Then it gently nudged their freighter, guiding them back toward known space. Ethan and Maya felt a deep sense of connection, not just to the ship, but to each other and to humanity as a whole. They left the nebula behind, but the lessons remained. The galaxy stretched out before them, full of mystery, challenges, and wonders waiting to be discovered. Humans were no longer mere wanderers. They were explorers, learners, and pioneers. Ethan looked at the stars, heart pounding with excitement. This is just the beginning. Humanity is ready. Maya smiled, her eyes reflecting the distant light of the nebula. And we have the ship and each other. Nothing can stop us now.
As they sailed into the unknown, the mythic ship hovered behind, silent and watchful, ready to guide those who proved themselves worthy.
The legend of humans and the mythic ship had only just begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. Ethan Parker leaned back in his seat, a grin spreading across his face. We did it, Maya. We really did it. Maya laughed softly. Yes, and the adventure is just starting. Together they soared into the stars, carrying knowledge, hope, and the proof that humans, curious, brave, and creative, could rise to meet the unknown. The galaxy was theirs to explore, and nothing could hold them back.